What I would make cancer a major priority, as any president would. I think the fact that I had cancer and survived it and have dealt with many friends who've had cancer and lost a father to cancer and some very close personal friends to cancer just recently, I'd make it a major priority that America try to set a date in which we can be sure that we've resolved it and cured it, maybe 2015. I think that this is going to best be done by the American medical system, meaning American medical system that's essentially private, that's essentially for profit, that's essentially driven by investments of huge amounts of money from the private sector. A very good friend of mine just yesterday called me to tell me about the fact that he has very serious form of 3 different cancers. So we spent quite a bit of time on the phone talking about how to deal with it. The first thing you have to do is pray to God and develop an optimistic attitude. It's really phenomenal what optimism can do. Second, you have to look at cancer differently than the way we were brought up to think about cancer. Cancer, for me, when I was a child, when I heard that word, was a death sentence. And it was for some of my relatives. It was for my dad. But the reality is it is no longer a death sentence. There are many cancers that used to be death sentences that are now either curable or close to curable. There are many cancers that are now containable. So there are options available now that were never available before. Third, we have to give people more options. We have to get the FDA process to move along in a way in which if people want some of the options that are out there, they should be allowed to have access to them. After all, I'm a very big believer in individual choice, that we have to rely a lot on individual decisions made by human beings. And if human beings want to try medicines that give them a chance when the doctors tell them they're in a hopeless situation, we should really accommodate that. That's much more in keeping with the American spirit than these very, very strict kind of nanny government controls that we sometimes have. And then we have to make a lot more information available to people. When I got prostate cancer, I was very, very fortunate that I had Judith, who's a nurse, and she could read all these websites and she could translate it into English for me so that I could make some decisions about how to deal with it. A lot of people don't have a nurse available. So we got to put these things in English. We have to make them much more accessible to people. I think having medical records be much more accessible to doctors and much more portable. All these things are things that can help a great deal. And the president should understand how to utilize these things and how to support them.